congratulations to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Sean Payton's first win as a Denver Broncos head coach. Congratulations. Just job well done there. Big, tough road environment there in Chicago. And on the flip side of that, Brady Quinn, your Chicago Bears continue to be the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I've got family in Monmouth, Illinois, so that's how I became a lifelong Chicago Bears fan.
What a coincidence.
Not a lot of people know that.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
We could start with, the fact that they had a 21-point lead and let that go. We could start with Chase Claypool, who was critical of the coaching staff. Was a healthy scratch. He was told to stay home by the team, and then Matt Eberflus afterwards said, well, I don't know, he had an open invite to stay on the sideline or be at the game, which apparently was not the case. The injuries, there's all sorts of stuff happening in Chicago. Justin Fields throwing the late pick, the fumble in the second half. Oh, and then there's the fact that they had a fourth down, the game was tied, in a makeable field goal situation in the fourth quarter, and so instead of you would think
kicking the field goal,
or
they go for it on 4th and 1,
or a quarterback sneak, but they line up in shotgun, they give the ball to Khalil Herbert, he gets stopped, Denver gets the ball back and kicks the eventual game-winning field goal. So Matt Eberflus was asked about the decision on 4th down in that spot in the fourth quarter. Here was his response.
Just because of the way we were running it, and it was a half a yard, so I felt very confident about getting that right there. And every situation is different. You got to look at the game in its entirety. And I think that the way we were running the football and the confidence that we had on offense in that moment, I would say that we're going to do that right there.
Yeah,
we're going to do that right there.
And that is not going to win you the ball game.
Nope.
Whatever that is.
Yep.
It's bad, man. And it's only getting worse. Right when you think you saw everything, it's only getting worse. And Justin Fields had a hell of a first half, but the late turnovers, the fumble, the interception. I don't know what the plan is moving forward.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Chicago is a really, really big market, super big market.
Yeah.
Why is it that Justin Fields doesn't get as much smoke as Zach Wilson? Aren't they pretty comparable?
He has.
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't feel like – I feel like Zach Wilson is like in a category all of his own as to how much maligned he is. All his own. Like I just
I don't agree with that. I mean,
okay.
Justin Fields has got a lot of flack. I mean, they contemplated taking another quarterback instead of him before the season.
Well, that is true. That is true.
And then they did. And then ever since then, he's been like on a week by week basis where they're grading every little thing he does. Mind you, it's not like he's working with a lot around him.
Right.
I mean, the offensive coordinator and his relationship came into question because of how the media portrayed his, post game comments, practice comments, whenever it was a couple of weeks ago.
Deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's definitely come under scrutiny a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
was curious because I just I needed some clarity on that. But
even last week when they played Kansas City, everyone made it about the fact that the Bears decided to pass on Patrick Mahomes, which was a little bit ironically because Mitchell Trubisky was in that draft class. It wasn't Fields. Yet because Fields was the next quarterback they decided to take, that they're kind of judging just the Bears' decision in general to ultimately pass on Mahomes. So that got thrown out there.
Look, the good news is –
what's the good news?
They've got the number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft next year as it stands right now because
do they really?
They own Carolina's first. So, I mean, we could be seeing, Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., bang, right at the top.
I would imagine the second pick they trade out for a boatload of picks. I would imagine because whoever's at 3 might need a quarterback. But there might be someone who's in another spot that's willing to give up a king's ransom to get to 2. So if they take Caleb Williams number 1, knowing how most general managers operate, they would rather move back down, allow someone to trade up, give them more picks, and utilize it that way. Because you're probably going to get Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then from that standpoint, you can maybe still stay in the top 10 and still get a big-time player with plus whatever else you get in that trade.
It just feels like they got to turn the page. Like here was the other part of that fourth down sequence that didn't make any sense. So they lined up as if they were going to go for it, and it was to try and draw Denver off sides. So then as the play clock wound down, they called timeout. And you would think, okay, well, they called timeout, they tried it, they're going to come out and kick the field goal.
Yeah.
They go to the sideline, and they come out to go for it again, and this time they line up in shotgun and hand the ball. Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't understand. I don't know what's so difficult. I mean, even Brandon Staley and the Chargers, they went for it on fourth down again, and we can touch on whether or not that was the right call again in that game later on. But, man, Justin Herbert with, the Nintendo Power Glove on his hand because his finger almost fell off. He's like, like a QB sneak.
That's what it was.
It's the easiest call in the world, and for whatever reason, they just line up in shotgun and hand it off to Herbert, which everybody.
And the only problem with that play call, if you want to go in shotgun, that's fine, but incorporate Fields as part of it. You have one of the best athletes at quarterback in the NFL, and you can't run a quarterback run to go get. Like, forget a sneak for a second, but like, he might be your best running back. And you can't incorporate him as part of it when the game's on the line? I just, like, that's the hard thing for me when I hear criticism of Justin Fields. I'm like, look at the play calling. Like, look at the position they put themselves in.
Johnson.
Like, they could have kicked the field goal, and who knows how the scenario plays out if that's the case. But then if you're going to go for it, put it in the guy who's probably best suited to go get you that extra yard and puts more pressure on a defense. I mean, you tell me, LaVar, if you've got an athletic quarterback like Justin Fields, is that not the toughest way to try to stop them on short yardage?
Well, I mean, you saw what happened in the Chiefs game. They didn't pay enough attention to the fact that man will step on you. Like, he will step out of the front door, come off of the porch, and run through the yard. Like, you're 100% right. I mean, yeah.
Can I give a side note Dan Campbell quote that might be the quote of the week? All right.
Okay. Yep.
Someone asked him after their win about whether now they're considered the hunted, not the hunter, and his quote was, "Well, if someone's coming to hunt us, they won't have to look very far. We'll be on their front porch." He is a flippin' legend.
Very well done.
He is a legend. Like, that's one that I will tell my kids, like my little girl's soccer team, hey, we're 5-0 girls. Let me tell you something, though. People think we're the hunted, all right? We're not going to have to look very far.
Good.
It's amazing.
I love that he still embraces his inner meathead. I love that. And just lets it rock as the head coach of the Lions. But hey, listen, must be nice. They're sitting atop the North, and then way, way, way down at the bottom are those Chicago Bears. So not a good place to be.